Good morning, good Thursday morning to all of you. What's up? This is yours truly, Rama Screen, covering movies, TV, and entertainment. Sorry, my nose is a little runny. I apologize. And I just finished watching today's all new episode of the Twilight Zone series, the brand new Twilight Zone that's on CBS All Access, and it's brought to you by Oscar-winning filmmaker Jordan Peele. And I have a lot of thoughts about it, but just want to give you a heads up first that I'll be spilling some spoilers. Nothing major, just minor spoilers, mostly regarding context and the plot synopsis of this episode. But I will not reveal the twist ending. As you know, that is the crux, the big appeal of the Twilight Zone. You know, the nature of why we like this show is because it has twist endings, or it has unexpected conclusions or unexpected resolve. So I will keep that under wraps. But I'll be spilling some spoilers as to the details of the characters, as to some of the events that transpire, and all stuff like that. Okay, so heads up, minor spoiler alert. Um, so this season one, episode 4 is titled "A Traveler." Last week, we had Replay, which, as I mentioned in my review of that episode, it was very, it was the most social commentary episode yet. Um, it's about Black Lives Matter basically, and the injustices of police brutality that's going on in today's society. So it has a lot of uh, uh, social commentary undertone that it wanted to convey. Um, this one, this one has a bit of that, but it's more back to mind trip, or or situations that would mess with your head, sort of deal. So it's not preachy. It's not trying too hard to be relevant either. It's just say let's get back to the fun uh, uh, of leading you one way, but then uh, it, it 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 drops a bombshell, just like, whoa, I did not see that coming. Just to get you to be surprised, basically. So that's basically the purpose of this episode. Nothing too heavy. That said, I do have some criticism about it. So let me give you the context or the plot synopsis of what happens in today's episode 4, titled "A Traveler." So the stars of this episode, the lead stars, are Oscar nominee Greg Kinnear, whom I've met before. Nice fella, but he keeps it to himself. So talented actor. And the other lead is Marika Silla. Marika Silla is an actress of indigenous descent, or Native American, I should say. And she has her own Instagram account. It's called Hoop Ninja, I think. So cool. So basically, what she does in this Instagram, I looked her up on her Instagram account. She is very skilled at dancing with hula hoops. She's got all tons of videos about them, and of course she's an actress too. But she has this thing as well where she promotes Native American culture, which is a good thing. And the other lead, um, of course, is the guy whose face you see on the thumbnail of this video, and that is Stephen Yoon. Stephen Yoon, you may recognize him from his role in The Walking Dead, playing Glenn, until, of course, Negan bashed Glenn in the head till he died. What a gruesome way to go out. Glenn, of course, is Maggie's boyfriend, so you know Stephen Yoon. Um, and after The Walking Dead, he's been in some few movies I've seen. I think one of them is I believe Mayhem, that office violent thriller movie. And there's some other gigs that he did as well. Oh, Burning. That's a Korean movie that last year tried really hard to get nominated for Oscar, but failed getting the nomination. Um, and now this, the Twilight Zone. So it's good to see Stephen Yeun back. I think he is a fantastic actor, underrated, and hopefully soon enough he'll get another steady gig. Another long series, just like The Walking Dead. So okay, so those are the three leads. So the story has it that, or the story is set in this small town in Alaska. I'm not gonna try to butcher its name, and and Greg Kinnear plays the head police, or the head sheriff, if you will, of that small town. And it's set during Christmas Eve, I should say. So they're having a Christmas party. The mayor is there, and a bunch of people are there. And Marika Sila's character, Officer Yuka, at the beginning of the episode, is driving her own brother, a drunkard named Jack, uh, to jail for misdemeanor stuff. But she knows that her brother Jack will get pardoned anyway, because the sheriff, Greg Kinnear's character, has this tradition every year during Christmas where he pardons um, anybody who's jailed during that night. And so that happens to be Yuka's brother, Jack. So that's the setup. And throughout the evening, you see, before Stephen Yeun's character shows up, and his name is a Traveler, um, throughout the evening, you get a sense from that party that there is an Air Force base nearby, military base, that shares the power grid with the small town. So frequently, you'll see the power would go out, the electricity would go out quite often, and throughout this whole night, the sheriff, Greg Kinnear's character, tries his best to, like, hey, come on, let's drink and be merry, and just, yeah. So the power goes out once in a while, but hey, the Air Force base is here, and so the town is here. The town exists because the military base is here, so you get the sense that Greg Kinnear's character is very much an arrogant douche. um, and he also speaks about Christmas in a way that it's as if Christmas is like, you know, uh, real, and like Christian's tradition is like the holy one, and everybody else is dumb, and you and the whole bragging about Christmas and the tradition, it rubs Officer Yuka the wrong way, because Officer Yuka is like, keeps rolling her eyes like, oh, here we go again with the three wise men story, and how we are the heroes, and Jesus this, Jesus that. Obviously the Native Americans don't believe in Christmas, and so there's that little undertone going on with regards to belief and religion, but it's not, trust me, it's not the main focus of the episode. That clash, because it's more about, I think, it's more than just about Christmas. I think Officer Yuka feels that her superior, Greg Kinnear's character, is just, he, like, Greg doesn't have the interest of the town, let alone the Native Americans, at heart. Um, so that's how Yuka approaches him. The whole Christmas get brought up once in a while, but it's not this story's main focus. Um, and so time comes for Yuka's brother Jack to get pardoned by the head sheriff. So Yuka comes to the jail, and she has to go through this long corridor, which looks very, very creepy, in order to get to the jail. So she punches in the code, and voila, she notices that the jail cell that a minute ago was empty next to her brother Jack is now no longer empty. There's this mysterious man in a double vested suit, right, looking very sharp, with a hat on as well, fedora, and voila, it says Stephen Yeun. Lo and behold, and so he introduces himself as a traveler, not the traveler. And he says that he is there to get pardoned. So what transpires after that is um, Greg Kinnear's character pardoning a traveler, and a traveler mingles with the party goers in that office. And at one point in the evening, he, just like a magician that kind of, you know how it is when you go to magic show, and a magician or a psychic, whatever, a psychic show maybe, would try to guess or would correctly guess what is going on in your life. And so that's what he does. At one point in the evening, he's like, I know all of you. I know you people. And he points to the mayor. I know you did this. And then he points to that one guy. I know you did this. And that creates tension because he pretty much unravels everybody's secret right there and then. And it's like everybody's like, "Whoa, how could you do that to me?" Like, how you kept that from me? And then they started arguing, fighting. So they have to leave the office, and some of the officers have to escort them out. And later on, you get to see in the episode that it never actually ends. They even have to be arrested. Some of them. Um, and that after that, what happens is this Greg Kinnear's character and Yuka and a traveler, the three of them, and then Jack in the jail cell. Those are the only ones left in that police office. And so a traveler is playing mind games between Yuka and Greg Kinnear's character. So to Yuka, he'll say, "Hey, deep down in your heart, you can do a better job than he does, than your boss does, than your captain, right? That's what you want for Christmas, right? Yeah, I can give you that." And then to the captain, he's like, "Hey, I know you've been selling shit to the neighbor across the pond, the Russians, huh? You feel like being a captain after 20 years being a captain, you're just underappreciated. You're not paid enough, and then you're situated in this, or you're stationed in this small town that nobody gives a dump about. Like it's a hellhole. Like it's like a blip in the map. Like so you gave up and you sell information to the Russians. Like, and then he keeps like, no, you're lying, no, you're lying. Um, so he is in a very, I guess you could say, non-forceful way, non-violent way, just by words. He pits them against each other, but it's not like pits them against each other like Reservoir Dogs, where everybody start like um, uh, tensions running high and they start pointing gun at each other. There's one person pointing a gun at the other, but it never gets to that level. So that's basically the synopsis in a nutshell. Now, what are my thoughts? Okay, Greg Kinnear. He's the guy. He's the kind of actor who more than often plays a good guy. I've seen him play a bad guy a couple of times, um, but more than often he plays a good guy, and he has this everyman feel to him. And so him playing this character in today's episode, where um, not only is he arrogant and pompous, but you can tell that he also is shady and is not uh, forward about his methods or about who he is. Man, Greg does it in a really subtle and, well, subtle maybe not be the right word for it. Um, but he does it in a very nuanced way where you can tell that this guy is very complex, and that's how Greg plays him. And it's such a privilege just watching him play, man, just watching him do his thing. Greg is one of those actors where you feel rewarded just by watching him perform. um So that definitely is one of the highlights of today's episode. Um, the actress who plays Yuka, Marika Silla, I don't know much about her or her previous work. I think she does just fine uh, in this role. Um, I think there are moments when some of her inflection or her cadence or the delivery of her lines could have been better. Um, there are times when I feel like whoa, 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 like she's rushing it a little bit. Like she's not. It seems like she's just kind of spewing the lines instead of delivering or performing the lines. I'm not saying she's a bad actress. I'm just saying that she seems fresh and nervous. Maybe I would be nervous too when I'm acting alongside somebody like Greg Kinnear. Um, but she looks the part. But some of her performance just a little bit off, in my opinion. Stephen Yoon is fantastic. Oh my god, this actor, dude. Um, this character is. If I were an actor, I would love to play a traveler because a traveler is charismatic. A traveler, is he has a way with words, and man, Stephen Yoon uh, plays that to the max. The way he smirks, the way he kind of half smiles, like, oh, I know, like, oh, I can think. I mean, I've thought two steps ahead of you. It's like, oh, I love that. It's so much fun. I'm sure it's a fun role for him to play. I would have a blast playing a traveler. Um, in one moment he'll get everybody under his charm. The next moment he gets everybody fighting or against each other. It's like he doesn't even have to lay a hand, or I don't know. It just by words and verbally. It's a fun character. I wouldn't call a traveler necessarily a villain or a nemesis. Um, but he is one of those enigmatic characters, that's just like he has tricks up his sleeves without having to give out too much effort. So I love that. I love that. This is a fantastic character. Um, the twist, though, the twist ending at the end, without telling you fully what it is, I want you to watch the episode for yourself. It's on CBS All Access. Rama Screen is an affiliate of CBS All Access. So if you go to ramascreen.com, click on the CBS All Access banner on the sidebar, click through that, and it'll, and subscribe through that to CBS All Access. And then you can watch episodes of The Good Fight, Star Trek Discovery, and of course, The Twilight Zone. So I want you to see the episode today for yourselves in its entirety. But let me just say that the twist ending, without revealing too much about it, it's in the same vein as the X Files. So if you're like me, I grew up a huge fan of the X Files. I was an X Files nerd. Gillian Anderson is my celebrity crush, still is. So if you're like me and you are used to Mulder, truth is out there, so you get the hint, right? That I'm throwing you a hint. That's basically the twist ending in today's episode. Now, my problem with that is I feel like the conflict between Greg Kinnear's character and Yuka, Marika Silla's character Yuka, and the arrival of this twist ending, it doesn't seem. I don't know. They seem apart from one another. I feel like okay, I want to see where this conflict leads. At one point, Yuka has a gun pointed at Greg Kinnear, and then the next minute, I'm like, whoa, this happens. So, um, how is the revelation about Greg Kinnear's character connect to that arrival, that twist ending? Um, I thought this was about Yuka exposing Greg Kinnear's character's corruption, right? That's how it's supposed to be. And then this thing happens, and it's just so, I don't know. I feel like it's unwarranted. Like, really, literally, you just gotta drop this on us. Uh, so an argument probably can be made. One can argue, like, hey, this is Stephen Yoon's character, a traveler, telling all of these guys in the police office, like, hey, you guys all suck. You guys don't know how to run the place, and the military base next door also sucks. If we run the show, it'll be pretty cool. It'll be good. Let us take over, because obviously you guys don't even trust each other, and we can easily divide and conquer all of you, and we don't even have to lay a finger in doing so. We're just telling you about what you are, and you'll go at it amongst each other. So an argument could be made that that's where the cleverness of this episode lies. But still, though, I feel like, oh, they just want to bust out this twist ending just so they can have an episode that is in the nature of the X Files, or that can cater to fans of the X Files. Which is fine. I'm a fan of the X Files, so I'm like, yay, yay! Mulder would be so excited about this reveal. But still, I feel like I we have this conflict between Greg and Yuka, and then all of a sudden it just shifts focus to that. I'm like, really, really? So I'm a little disappointed on that front. Clifton is here. Clifton says the episode is so out there, very all over the place. Did she arrest the sheriff? Did they both die? Why is the guy eating the pie when they're exactly, Clifton? So Clifton just pretty much spoiled it for you there. So I won't read the whole eating the pie part. Again, that's a major spoiler, so I'm gonna keep that under wraps. But Clifton has a point. It seems there's no connection between the conflicts between Greg and Yuka and this big reveal that happens at the end. At least in my opinion, it's like it's unwarranted, it's unmotivated. It's like, and 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 the whole thing too. Right by the end, it doesn't feel like it comes to a nice conclusion. It feels like a first part of a two-parter story, but you're not getting the second part. The sequel will never happen, so you're left unsatisfied. And so, uh, overall, just want to say that this is a weird, um, far out there kind of episode, but it's also mildly disappointing. Um, exactly, Clifton. It's like two different writers with two different endings. So there are parts about it that I enjoy. Again, as I mentioned to you earlier, Stephen Yeun is fantastic. Greg Kinnear is also fantastic. Performance wise, they get me, you know. And performance wise, I'm in it. I'm all loving Greg, Marika, and Steven. But story wise, it's just not solid. It starts out, it really has my interest starting out, but then the third act was just like, what in the world? It just doesn't connect. I am always for such reveal, okay? Because I'm a huge X Files fan. I always welcome it, but it has to make sense with the conflict and the story at hand. And it just doesn't. It just doesn't. I think out of we only have 4 episodes so far, and this is the first time that I'm disappointed by the Twilight Zone series, the new one. So yeah, that's my overall take, my full review of today's CBS All Access Jordan Peele's brand new Twilight Zone season 1 episode 4, titled A Traveler, starring Marika Silla, Greg Kinnear, and Steve Yeun. If you have watched it too, and if you disagree with me, Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm really, really curious to hear what you think about the episode. Share them in the comment section below. And oh, you're welcome, Clifton. And subscribe. Press like button, ring that bell, tell everybody and your grandma about this channel. And if you can help support me, please do so at patreon.com/ramascreen. Okay, let's wrap this.